Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Global Goddess Fest, where men and women are tuning in to receive education, connect with global leaders, and gain inspiration on creating the life of your dreams. So today, so excited, we have Dr. Amanda Noelle here, tuning in from Texas, and dear soul sisters. So I'm so happy that you're here joining us. And she's going to be sharing about manifesting your twin flame sacred union, and if you want to make this happen, how you can do it and make it happen within 12 months. So super powerful stuff. And I think this twin flame theme has been going around for a while, so I'm excited to dive in and get more knowledge out of you and share it with all of our viewers. So everyone that's tuning in, Dr. Amanda Noelle is a twin flame matchmaker and founder of Aphrodite University, where smart, conscious bachelorettes and future love coaches learn the secrets of twin flame love. Dr. Amanda Noelle graduated cum laude from Duke University in sexuality studies with a PhD in transpersonal counseling. Badass. She's a certified soul coach, certified past life regression therapist, holistic wellness consultant, and a licensed esthetician. So just a whole bunch of tools in her pocket that she's going to be sharing. She was initiated into the mystery school of Aphrodite through a series of dreams, out-of-body experiences, and initiations. And so
magic mushrooms. Sorry.
What was that?
Magic mushrooms.
And the help of some friends. So now her retreats, programs, and activations that she holds throughout the year, which we'll be talking about, reflect the higher dimensions of energy and bringing in the goddess of love. So, love, like, who doesn't want to talk about this? I've been so excited for this interview for days.
Well, I'm at your service. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm here to serve and support. And is it okay if I just share my definition of twin flame love? Because some people think it's like talking about Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy, and they're kind of weirded out by the term. And I just want to clarify to calm those people down, or stay away from me. Twin flame is literally the alignment of your soul coming fully into your body, as above, so below, and having that soul that's fully embodied in mama matter to be mirrored through what I call the twin flame mirror, but really it's the hologram in the mirror of love and oneness, where another being or body, and some people believe they have multiple twin flames. They're all about polyamory, whatever that is for you, your mirror. And this is ancient knowledge that was passed on from Atlantis. Even Plato talked about it in the symposium, about how our souls were severed into two, but we were actually originally 4 arms, 4 legs, and our heads were glued together, but we couldn't see our twin flame. We were one part of anima and animus. And so it's not about, the twin flame is one person that meets all your needs. It's actually about aligning your divine feminine and divine masculine energy. The signs of the twin flame union are really very simple. I can kind of boil it down to 3. It sustains when you're working on your shit, meaning you want to go over here and they're whoa, actually that aligns. Maybe you're my sole purpose is to set up this healing retreat in Mexico. And your twin flame is you know what? I knew I needed to move somewhere for a purpose. I was told this by a shaman, and I'm so ready to go. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do, but I'm going to bring my music over there. And boom, you grow this retreat center, and it flourishes, it builds. So you've got the parallel paths. The other sign is that you are willing to fully enlighten, clear, and heal yourself. So that means that you're not settling for less with someone else who's got a drinking problem, and you're well, they're my twin flame, so it's not codependent. It's actually you're fully committed to being the best that you are, and therefore through the twin flame mirror, they're doing that too. Another sign of twin flame energy is that you really come home to God, universe, creator, and it's this feeling a sensation. For some people, yeah, it's multiple orgasmic ecstatic sex. Sometimes it's just a feeling of, I know this person is my beloved and I can't explain why, but it's that sensation of divine coming home. And it's not always easy to get there. I'm here to talk about how to make it a little bit easier, but it's a beautiful thing to be initiated in life. And, we didn't come here to have it easy. You wouldn't be incarnated at this time if you were meant to just be sipping mojitos on the beach. And the twin flame journey is really not for the faint of heart. It is the ultimate enlightened union, and you get to decide where you want to fly your ship.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, that was something that I was going to ask anyways, just to give everyone a clue in on what we're talking about here. So I love that description, and I think that brings a lot of clarity. So awesome.
And there's a lot of freedom. You can write your own definition. You can call it the tooth fairy if you want. Like, I don't care, but really, are you on the path, and are you ready to, birth your soul purpose mission, or leave a legacy on earth? Maybe it's children, maybe it's creating that thriving organization or retreat center or new paradigm, strain of sexuality, or, so many of us have these callings, and sometimes we need to keep our sanity by having someone in our life that can be that consistent mirror, and they're like our best friend, and we get to make love to them, and we get to share a life, like, that's really cool. So whatever you want to determine it as, whatever you want to call it, twin soul best friend, I don't care.
Yeah, and then, so I've heard the other terms, I've heard you mention them, like karmic soulmates, and then we have like false twin flames. Can you tap into what those mean and how they're different?
I'd be happy to. Yeah, I would imagine that most of our audience listening, probably you've gone through one or more of these, where you meet somebody and they activate your soul, where you're like, whoa, like, there is a God. There is something greater than, typical love. So I would call a karmic soulmate someone where there's kind of like synchronicity, think of like the typical American 1950s sweetheart, like, oh, like John asked me out at the dance, it just was easy and it fit. And so that's one generic kind of type of karmic soulmate, where, the stars are kind of aligned. It's not necessarily good karma, but it's karma, and maybe your ancestors have helped you out. So what they knew how to do, meet the guy, have him pay for you, like the old paradigm. So karma just means it's almost like a system that the matrix just rinses and repeats, like evolution. It doesn't necessarily mean it's higher intelligent karma, like I choose this, this is what I ask for. So there's a type, when you're done with karmic soulmates, there's usually a type of karmic soulmate that is the most tricky initiation, when you are saying to yourself, to your ancestors, and to all past parts of yourself, I'm done with the wheel of karma. I'm ready to create my own fortune. I'm ready to see the other half of my soul and create the life that I want, my true soul purpose. You're going to get hit with some shit. It's going to be like the Illuminati coming at you saying, stop right there. But the way that it does it is the Illuminati dresses itself up as a beautiful disguise. We see it in the fairy tales as the witch who covers herself as a priestess, and she gives the poison apple. So this will look like a false fairy tale. This will look like a trickster energy, where you'll have what is called a false twin flame, or twin flame counterfeit, something that looks like the most amazing guy or gal comes in your life, fireworks, you fall in love, it's like instant, and the bliss and pleasure is so intense that you're like, literally, it feels like a drug. The oxytocin, the bonding chemicals, the serotonin, everything skyrockets, and then you go down into Darth Vader land. Dark demons start to arise, because the light, think about, if you turn light on, all of the shit starts to die, right? Like when you do a candida cleanse, you don't feel very good at first. So the truth is that our false twin flame, they really are a magnificent being of light, and they don't fully align. There's actually codes that are matching within you, your pain codes, of your past that need to be healed and cleared are coming in. So think about that, you know, in the fairy tale, the dark witch who gives the poison apple. The poison in that apple is the exact medicine to wake you up. It puts you to sleep. It makes you go, oh my God, I never want to love again. I want to, you know, get out of here. That guy's a jerk. He dicked me over, or she's a, you know, and we have a choice. We could either go deep into sleep and screw it. And literally some people do that. They say, I'm done with love. I'm just going to screw around. I'm just going to go into, you know, monogamy, serial monogamy, or really fancy forms of polyamory where there's no depth, there's no deep devotion. Or I'm going to go monastic, and maybe you'll do that for a few lifetimes. Maybe you'll go and join different, you know, Tibetan tribes, or, you know, Christian lifetimes where we thought, you know, it's good to kind of get credit for getting love from God, but really it's because divine love in the physical form brings up all my wounds. I'm just channeling some of this because I know, like, the group energy, if you're listening to this, you have probably had some of these monastic lifetimes, and maybe even this lifetime, you're like, I'm not going to do this, or I'm just going to have sex, but without love, or one or the other. And so let's see, this opportunity with the twin flame counterfeit, I don't want to, you know, go too long on the topic, but it's so important to understand that if you've met a twin flame counterfeit, your shit will fall apart. You'll probably have your finances messed with, like you were going pretty okay with money, or you never cared about money, or whatever. It goes through the rainbow of fruit flavors of all of your chakras. You fall apart. You feel like you're dying. You feel like you wish you were dead because you want to leave the situation so badly, but you can't because you know you have a soul purpose. You know that you have more time here on this planet. And you go into full twin flame initiation, like in the dark cycle. The trick here is many people give up. They're just like, no, I don't want to keep going. And they let it crush them. But really, just like everything with this darkness, even the Illuminati money slave systems that, you know, we've been like trapped in for so long, it's actually what's made us so freaking strong, which is why we're doing things like living this goddess fest lifestyle, because we're like, oh, you're going to try and trap us in cages? Yeah, we're just going to go over here. It's hard to go over here. We have to do the work. But now we're freaking badasses. So that's really all it is. Since you said the word before, it's about being badasses of the heart.
I love it. So what would you, I mean, now that we're in this topic, I'm totally trans. So like, what would be, you know, what's like the next step after having this encounter with a false twin flame?
Yeah. So as hard as it is, our false twin flame comes in to shine a light on where we haven't lived ourselves. They are a mirror. Our twin flame is a mirror. Everyone truly is a mirror. And we are living in a hologram. All of this, all love, this is just love or lack thereof. So when we have someone that's saying, I love you, but I have to go because I can't deal with you. You're too much for me. Or I have to leave you because I have, you know, kids from a previous relationship and the mama wants you back and I think it's the best. Like whatever reason you have to break up, there's a wound that was unhealed from your past that you shut down. For example, I had this weird illness that came out of nowhere, and I went to one of the top healers in the country. He took his pendulum and he said, you have giardia. Did you have it as a baby? And I was like, no. And then I asked my mom and she's like, yeah, you did. He said, you trapped it in your cells. You hid the giardia so you could survive. The antibiotics kind of worked, but now you're not holding that pain anymore. You're ready to face your death and fear. And so for 2 weeks, I was laying there thinking I was dying, but I cleared it. And I cleared this deep wound that I had with my mother, who thought, you know, I was going to die at the time. And so that was always in my energy field. Same thing with the twin flame counterfeit, the false twin flame, is we probably had something from our childhood. Maybe your parents divorced and you don't remember it even, but you were sitting there as a genius little being, your nervous system was taking on all this stuff as your parents were arguing, and you were feeling not good enough because your mom didn't feel good enough because she didn't have the money to leave him, and she was like, fuck you, I'm so powerful, but I don't know how to make money. And your dad's like, well, you don't know what you're doing, and you think you're a priestess, but and so the little kid is absorbing whatever is going on in this argument. And I just channel that because it's a very typical conversation that has been happening over time. And whoa, you grow up and you have your beloved say, you're amazing, Amanda, or whatever your name is. That was my story. You're amazing, but you're not making enough money, so I can't support you financially, and you're too woo-woo for me. So I'm going to, leave you so that you can have someone come in. And I was like, no! But guess what? It's an opportunity. When someone leaves us and digs that knife in, we have to heal. We're bleeding. We have to. They've lanced our wound. So you heal. And there are many different ways to heal. One of the biggest ways that I've seen is to find a tribe that can understand what you're going through. And I went through it alone. I didn't know what the twin flame counterfeit was. And there was no community out there back then. It was like 7-8 years ago. And the term twin flame was still kind of at the edge of the consciousness. And psychics couldn't even help me. They gave me wrong readings. Therapists were like, here's the healthy thing to do. But they didn't understand what was going on. And I think this would be a good time also just to bring in, for those of you who have really awakened, there's something more than this. Maybe you've done plant medicine journeys, or you meditate, or you grew up kind of like tapped in where you could see spirits or auras. These worlds are coming together. The physical, material matter, the very bottom of the chakra system, or in the Kabbalah, the tree of life, Malkuth, is merging with the astral plane, or the higher dimensional formless plane that is where creation is. And so if you want to create your divine union from the Keter and Malkuth, from the 7th chakra, or the upper chakras, Father Sky and Mother Earth, it's all about coming back into the heart. And that is where every being on this planet has been broken, and we get to break open. And this is a really exciting time because we've already gone through the biggest shit. So if you're going through the false twin flame, like, congratulations. It doesn't get any harder, and you have nothing to lose. And that's why we die. We die so many times, so we go, oh, like, I don't have to be afraid anymore. Now what? Like, what do I want to do? So that's the last question I just want to ask everyone here. Now that you've broken through, there's nothing you could do wrong. No one can ever leave you. Like, how many people have already left you? It doesn't matter. You're never going to leave yourself, and you can always have what you want. So what do you want? What now? When you come from love. So that was a little bit of a channeling. I'm feeling the vibe of your tribe. So thank you all for being here. I'm just like channeling. So did that answer your question?
Definitely. And more. It was perfect.
A little extra something.
Yeah, it's I think, we all go through this, and it's really nice to be able to talk about it and, feel support and know, like, if you went through this crazy thing with this false twin flame, so did
join the club. Hey.
Yeah, join the club. And there's so much that you can look forward to past that. So I guess kind of going in a different direction, you have had like so much, or how do I want to phrase this? Why do you think like most goddesses get stuck in this obsession and like these toxic relationships, or get stuck in being like, I can't do anything?
Yeah, that's a really, really great question. So a couple hundred years ago, there were laws called coverture, where husbands would own the wives financially, legally, and they would have totally free reign over their women. And so historically, and even if just you tune in right now, you can sort of feel it. Women, until very recently, have been enslaved by the legal systems and by the money systems. And I would say, from my research, that the reason we have been enslaved is not because men are bad. It's actually the men have been also enslaved in this system, but this system has been enslaving us. And yes, it's the same pyramid system that's on every dollar bill, but there has been a dark reptilian energy. This is what I've studied in my shamanic Gnostic experiences. And then I didn't know about all the stuff with the Illuminati, reptilians, Anunnaki. I started Googling and becoming obsessed and was like, that happened in my journey. That happened. Like, that's how I cleared a 5-year illness. I exorcised that exact demon. So there's been a slave system that has kept humanity small, and we've been very, very trapped in this. So women have been at the shorter end of the stick on the physical, monetary end. Physically, we're not as strong. Financially, we haven't had the power as much as men have. Men have not had the spiritual power to birth, and also they haven't been able to fully tap into their divine gifts as much as women. And so there's this gap between men and women and between the feminine and the masculine. And it's because we haven't aligned inside. No one has fully, I mean, we're seeing this happening now. It's really exciting. But no one until recently has been fully that enlightened bodhisattva in both their feminine and their masculine. And that's why you look over history and these men have been, you know, the symbols, because really on the other side of each Yeshua and Buddha and all these different archetypes, there is a feminine, but she hasn't been seen in the physical world. So women in relationships are terrified, afraid of their earthly nature, of being empowered. And so women don't often know how to feel safe without money. Money has been one of those things really that we have to talk about when we're talking about relationships, because of the old coverture laws, because of the way the world is working now. Like, if you look at the research, men still own most of the systems in our planet, and it's rapidly changing and it's time, and we're part of this movement. And to ignore that fact and to not heal it, to not tend to it, and to start to try and create the new earth without healing our wounds and understanding these origins within the dark cabal, the Illuminati, we won't be able to have illuminated relationships. So I feel like I shared that. I don't know if it totally hit home for you, and I'm happy to answer any questions because that was a whole lot. I'm tuning into the energy, and it feels like your tribe is very open and they're really there. And I also, if you don't understand something that I'm saying, that's totally normal and fine. I actually usually blast people's consciousness open in some ways, but a lot of times they think I'm nuts, but then they come back later and they're like, whoa, you know, I met my twin flame. So
Yeah, if you are watching and have questions, we'll have all of Dr. Amanda's contact information, and you can get more of this information too. So yeah. Yeah, that, I think that's so interesting, and that really does make a lot of sense in looking over history and where we're going, and the empowerment between money and love, and how to come into a union, I think is a really important subject that is, you know, at the forefront of a lot of people's minds, and especially the forefront of a lot of women's minds, because there has been this dynamic pool of like, oh, well, do I have to go with this guy because he's going to be able to give me that safety so I can actually do my work in the world, or, you know, or do I totally forget about that and then really struggle and not get my work out there? You know,
right, we really don't have to
find that balance and empower ourselves.
Yes, it's time to make money the sacred feminine way. And this has not been taught in mass. It's just starting to come through. And it's so exciting to see women stepping up and owning what I call blissnesses, and really trusting that their sacred feminine gifts and values are worthy of being provided for financially, receiving immense wealth. I know I hit six figures a couple of years ago, and it terrified me to make more than $5,000 a year for 10 years because I was so terrified of men and money. I had this just, I guess, early childhood trauma that I was like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want power. And it wasn't until I really got initiated by my false twin flame that I was like, all right, I don't care if I die. Let's go. Let's do it. I have nothing to lose. And I launched my blissness just in total service to the goddess. And I was surprised by how many women were ready to sign up and hire me for getting what they wanted, their twin flame. And then eventually women were like, how are you making money? And I was like, that's part of your twin flame journey. So if you are a woman who's been struggling, I wouldn't ignore your financial situation. I would very much encourage you to get support. And that's why Aphrodite University actually has an MBA program, because it's not just about getting the guy, it's about getting you to become your knight in shining armor. Really important.
So important and very true. I love that. And you talk about, a few like secrets and ways to manifest your twin flame. Would you like to, share maybe your top thing that you like to do, or what has worked best for you in your own personal life or with your clients?
Yes, absolutely. The first thing is to give yourself permission to dream it. The dream time, both, when we sleep, of course, but also just our subconscious mind, and kind of diving in and allowing your conscious mind to say, hey, like, this is what I want. And then allowing your subconscious mind to help you too, because when we ask questions, we start hearing answers, and that's our subconscious mind kind of tuning in. So really creating a sacred space, to a container to dive deep and explore. Because if we don't do that, we might regurgitate subconscious thoughts that aren't in our highest value. What your mom thinks, what your great grandfather believed about love and money and all that stuff. So creating that container to really dive in. And that's one of the things I do in my twin flame activation sessions, is we clear crystalline gridded space and really without limitations dive in. And it's crazy how we can have what we want. Like, it manifests in synchronicity, not the way we think it's going to happen, but eventually we're like, holy shift, my guy is exactly what I envisioned. And so don't be afraid to dream, and dream within a sacred container, maybe with somebody who's there to hold space and can kind of let you slay through those limiting beliefs.
I love that. And how would you say like sex and orgasm fits into all of this?
Yes. So manifesting with orgasm is something that I teach my students and clients. It's one of the things that it's not something that you want to just like, I have shared tips in the past, but I feel like I want to share not so much like the details of how, although it's amazing if you want to kind of dabble and just play with making love to yourself. I remember in college, I was like, what if I like envision having sex with myself? What would that feel like? And it was like so hot. And I think it did help me crack the code and stop dating this particular type of guy. So you can play with just like self-pleasure with feeling your twin flames energy, feeling your lover, and maybe even experiencing it as you as your lover. But the manifest with orgasm techniques, they're things that they're powerful and they can happen really quickly. And you want to do deep clearing work before practicing them, because it's almost like if you have a glass screen and you're shining a light through it, and you're writing down all the things that you want, but there's like a black smudge on it. It's like you can manifest what you want, but if you haven't cleared it off, you can manifest twin flame counterfeits and just things that can be very discouraging. So it's important to do sacred sexuality clearing, breath work. The twin flame work, or the manifest with orgasm work that I do, it does use orgasm in the form of fantasy about specific exercises that I teach women to use so that they can create an egregor, like an energetic body that holds the space of their beloved. Their beloved's not there yet, but it's almost like crafting their beloved out of the ethers. And then he comes in, and when he comes in, like when I had like deep divine sex with my twin flame for the first time, I'm like, oh my God, like I created you like months ago, like you're the guy. So it really is sacred sexual alchemy. And these are secrets that are just starting to come back. We're at this place of freedom. But there is kind of not a secrecy, but a protection that I think is warranted for diving into the divine feminine sexuality arts.
I think that's a really important key part, is clearing, because you can kind of start to call in abundance. Okay, you're calling in abundance, but what are you calling in abundance with? If you're in this confused place, or in this place of worry, or maybe in a needy place of needing a lot of external support for things that you could be giving yourself, then you're just stacking on top. So definitely taking time to have a coach or have someone that can really dive into clearing out some of these deep wounds, traumas, belief systems. Yeah, very important.
Totally. And it's really possible to clear them. So if you're going through like a clearing phase and you've been clearing it for maybe like decades, or, like I said, I had a 5-year lung disease. I had a womb related infection, and actually it was a yoni related infection, and it wouldn't go away for 5 years and was incredibly uncomfortable. And it was through Manifest with Orgasm that I was able to clear it out permanently. And I did it in the astral world, had a full body orgasm, and woke up and was like, all right, don't need any more creams or doctors, here I go. And met my beloved not that long after.
That's really inspiring. I know you've mentioned it earlier in the beginning, and I've heard you talk about it before, but how is this work that you're doing connected with positively impacting the planet, the earth, the environment?
Yeah. Well, I get so excited about this. So my thing, like I love relationships, and I have been obsessed with love since I was little, but my biggest passion is helping people get to the new earth, getting them physically in eco-villages. And if we don't have healthy relationships, we cannot do this. We're going to get to the villages and want to kill each other. We're going to just repeat the competition and greed and enslave each other. And so we have to work on ourselves. And the fastest way to see yourself in the mirror is to be in an intimate monogamous, it doesn't have to be monogamous, but primary partner relationship where there's commitment, because your shit's going to come up and your partner's going to shine so much light on it, and it's going to be the fastest way to move the energy. The other reason is when we do this work, we become amazing parents, and there's a line of souls ready to come in and incarnate, but they can't do it. They're such higher vibrational souls that they need two parents or more co-parents, but they need the parents to be fully clear, and literally their DNA has to be recoded. Not the junk DNA, not just the 2 strands, but there has to be all 12 strands starting to be activated, which it's just the quantum fields that we can't pick up in our technology yet, but it's higher dimensional DNA that's hooked up with our higher chakras. And so the parents can't just be picket fence home. So really this work is about preparing for the next generation. We have very little time on this planet. I was talking to you about this just before we hopped on the call. Right now it takes 5 planets to sustain the damage that we are, like, it's not sustainable, the amount of energy that we're using, and we can't just plan to go to Mars. Like, I know Elon Musk has this plan, but Gaia is a being, and she's very powerful, but she's also sick right now because of all the sickness that's in our worlds. So as we clear this out, as we clear out our bloodlines of all the density, the debris, the darkness, the enslavement that our families have gone through, the rape that the women have gone through, this trauma that, you know, like, it's amazing that we've survived through it, but we're still holding it oftentimes and don't know it. But when we clear it out, literally the land clears out, and the bones in the land of our indigenous ancestors that have been buried in unholy ways because of colonization, they get healed out. So my passion is to help divine partnerships fully thrive, including psychologically, spiritually, and also financially, and helping women get out of scarcity mentality around money, building up their bank accounts so they're not picking from fear, but they're picking from their overflow of abundance. And eventually we're going to be living in the new earth. I mean, I sound like a crazy person talking about this, but I've had so many like miracles and signs, and my brother's like, oh, we just got like $20 million investments in our land in Guatemala. He's growing chocolate, but I'm like, that might be great land where hardwood trees are sustainably forested and chocolate. Like, I would like to live there if there's some cool eco homes. And but that's how we're going to live, and that's how we're going to have to live. We're going to have to get along together, and we're going to have to learn how to deal with our relationships by dealing with ourselves, with our mirrors right there.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And yeah, I do think that's so important is, you know, as we're doing this work for ourselves, we're also doing the work for so many generations to come. So being able to zoom out and see, you know, this is going to be hard for us to do, but it's going to be way harder for generations to do it if we let it continue in this way. So yeah, super powerful. Well, I am just so happy that you were able to come and share. Is there any other last minute, any last things that you want to tell to our viewer?
Um, so one of my favorite matchmaking stories is a best friend of mine came to me and said, I need to call in my twin flame. I'm so depressed and I want to make it happen. And we did the work. We had it happen so fast that night she met him. But years later, he came to me and he said, I work for NASA and I work on satellites, and looking at the data, we only have really one generation where we're living comfortably. And by the time our grandchildren are born, we're going to be at the 11th hour. And so I want to share that if you feel called to make a difference in the planet, listen to that calling and take action. Do not wait. And I don't care if you're afraid, because your love is so great. It doesn't matter. You can slay any demon. We really can do anything. There's nothing to stop you. And massive love and abundance awaits you.
Mm, yes, yes. I love that. Thank you so much. And
It's the truth.
everyone that is watching, definitely check out Dr. Amanda's work. She's also giving every viewer a free gift. And would you like to tell them about the free gift?
Sure. Well, I actually just channel. So I can't remember if I gave this gift out or not, but this is what's really in the moment for me is I want to give every single woman who's here the opportunity to apply for a 30-minute, sometimes a little bit more, twin flame activation session. This is for those of you who are really feeling called to make a big difference on the planet, and you felt a resonance with my work, and you're in that place where it's like now or never, and you feel that clarion call. So that is called a twin flame activation session, and we will create that sacred crystal gridded container to get clear on what your soul purpose is with your beloved. And also if there's something with business, abundance, and wealth, we'll look at that as well. And then we'll make a plan of action to help you manifest what you really deserve and desire. And everyone, even if you don't, if you are not ready for that, there is a monthly new moon, I call it manifestation ritual using raw cacao. So I guess I'll just give out the two gifts because I'm feeling abundant. I'm also feeling that like urgency. The one-on-one time, it is really fast and it's really precious. I don't have a lot. So that's why there's an application. And you ladies can go to aphroditeuniversity.org/activate. That's where the twin flame activation session is. And for the new moon ceremony, you can go to aphroditeuniversity.org/new-moon. And we're going to have a 75-minute life-changing ritual. It happens on the new moon live on video, and it's so much fun in sisterhood.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. That's incredible gifts that you're giving all of us, and also just thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge.
Oh my goodness. It feels so good to see what's happening here at Goddess Fest, and it's just really happy to be a part of it and celebrating all of our triumphs of making it here. It's amazing that this is our time and we're making it happen.
Yes, we are, and collectively in collaboration, bringing everyone together. That's what it's all about. So thank you so
Amen.
much.
Amen.
We'll see y'all next time. Have a good rest of your day.